We survived to see installment number 2. Man, this is a series that Daniel Young, who is on your right, he is the GM and really the guy who makes Dirty's work. And it's one of the focal points, one of the last original. I know I overuse the term OG, but one of the last iconic places in Austin. Daniel, for those who may be tuning in or watching, or even just on the audio version, listening to this for the first time, you and I describe it in installment number 1. And we're going to get to this VIP right here shortly. And it's very awkward when you have a random third person. You don't talk about him. It's just, he looks like a fan, but he's not. But Daniel, tell everybody why you and I are doing this series of podcasts.
We're so excited because we've gone into the Austin history bag of the most famous and knowledgeable historians of the time and folks that I've been able to talk to over the past 8 years while I'm working here. We have a really great guest today, Mr. Charlie Schotz, and he's been described as having a photographic memory and be able to shed some light on some stories from the 50s and 60s. And this is the motivation behind what we're doing is just what y'all are about to see. I think we're really going to get a clear picture of what life was like, 60 years ago.
Yeah. So, without any delay, each episode, we're going to do these every 2 weeks. They drop, these episodes, if you will, drop at high noon every other Monday. Okay? And then we'll have some content on the weeks in between, all under the Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast umbrella. So if we're going through, we call this episode 255. That's overall episode numbers of Stories Inside the Man Cave. This is number 2, the installment of Austin as it used to be. And I really thank Daniel and the great Dirty Martin's Place for stepping in and really sponsoring this, supporting it, because Daniel and I have become really close here the last 2 years because we share the same vision and our love for Austin as it's evolving and changing. So I've got to let you know, you'll see photos like this, a lot of former UT greats, former governors. I want to call Mr. Charlie Schotz here. You're an OG. You are. You're one of the well-known patrons. You're part of the Dirty Star Power. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how and when you started coming to this fine establishment that Daniel has played a big role in maintaining as it fights off some adversity right now with Project Connect.
Well, my connection is that I grew up in Austin, and when I became old enough to even think about drinking beer, we managed to ease our way into dirties every now and then and try to act a little older than we actually were. But anyway, Dirties was back then almost an institution. It was a place you went really every day, especially if you were in college. You came here for lunch. You came here after your classes in the evening or in the late afternoon and just hung out. And there was such a collection of different people, different walks of life. You'd see high-powered officials all the way to bank presidents to the hoodlums like us and the other people that just UT people, the students, the co-eds, the frat rats. So it was just a place everybody went almost on a daily basis. And that went on for, as far as I was concerned, from the time I was like 17 until I was in my late 20s. So we were here a lot and learned a lot. We were part of the culture, part of the family, if you will, with that Cecil Pickens and all his staff. And it was a very enjoyable place to come to, and I really enjoyed it. Have good memories.
Daniel?
Tell me, because I know, Charlie, you grew up in Austin, and I understand you went to O. Henry and Austin High. Correct me if I'm wrong, and then
Right.
in UT. And, I'm kind of just interested. I just read Jesse Sublet's 1960s Gangsters, the book there, and I've kind of gotten fascinated by the Overton brothers. But I'm just tell me about like what an average Friday night looked like in like 1958 or 59, 60, if you can recollect.
Well, it'd be hard to describe some of them, I think, but it was kind of wild. You mentioned Jesse Sublet in that book. He interviewed me, and I'm in that. He's quoted me in the book, and he kind of referred to our connection as basically friends with Timmy Overton. He was the gang leader. He was actually younger than we were, and he sort of looked up to us a little bit because we didn't look down on him. He was kind of a tough guy, very tough guy, but he had a real soft heart, and we became really good friends and good memories about him. It's a shame that he was killed. There's a lot of stories about Timmy that I could tell, but when you mentioned Jesse Sublet, he captured a lot of that in that book, and I recommend that people read that book.
Absolutely.
When you mentioned the Overton brothers, I have only heard of them. There's a lot of names, especially people will say, dating back to the 20s, a great place Austin was. Obviously, this building right here, as we're recording, 97 years of history. And there's been extensions, renovations. But at the same time, a lot of people, like my parents, my grandparents, everybody from the 40s to the 80s, I've been told many times. Now, I was born in 73, but I've keep being referred to, hey, the 40s through the 80s, the golden era of Austin, Texas.
Right.
Is there any truth to that?
Yes.
Or are you agreeing with me because we were born within that time frame? Well, no. When were you born again?
I was born in 1939.
Oh, you missed it by a year, so you can't be biased.
Oh, and I'm 1979. So
79. Hey, that's in that time frame. So tell me, why do you think that is? What was it about Austin that doesn't exist that existed then?
I think it was a lack of structure. There was no regimentation of people. You basically felt good about going anywhere, any part of Austin. You didn't feel like you had to appear in any sort of different dress or act in any different way. It was just a very, inclusive area and very open-minded. Some of that's been picked up in some of the movies that have been made about Austin, the Slackers and all that. And some of that is true. It was a very nice place to live, very easy. People just felt good about each other, and you didn't worry about your status or how wealthy you were or not. And that was sort of the way of life of Austin during that time.
I know, Daniel, you've heard a lot of stories. And is there a question for Charlie, or is there a story that you can relate to play off of what he just said about that time frame and Dirties?
I mean, I hear it every day because I'm running this place, and a lot of people have really the same theme keeps coming up, that Austin's lost its soul, and where do we go from here? And that's another one of kind of a purpose of this podcast, seeing if there is a direction we can go in as Austinites, so we can feel better as a people. And I don't know how would you answer that, Charlie? I don't know, what would you say at this point, where we are as a Austin community?
Well, I think it was not stratified like it is today. Everybody has a strata, and they have a certain place. And back then, if you walked into Dirties, you might just go ahead and sit down right next to a bank president or somebody that maybe was in trouble with the law, and everybody knew it. So, but nobody would say anything. But it was just a very unstructured, friendly place. Today you see a lot of the people with really frowning faces. They looked kind of hesitant to even say anything. And
That's
back
a
then,
great point.
it was a lot different. Yeah, friendly.
Now, go ahead, Daniel. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Daniel has mentioned, other people have mentioned there. You know, we had this slug here called Dirty Star Power. I mean, you look on the walls, it's proof. But there is this one, and I've been waiting to ask you that. Daniel told me, big smile on his face when he told me. You got to ask him about this. You got to ask him about the late great star, that being the man who called Memphis, Graceland home, Elvis. And I promise you, we've got a graphic here. There it is. So, what do you know about Elvis visiting Dirties? He came here.
Okay.
Okay. Tell us the story. Were you here too?
Well, before that, you should know, and a lot of people don't know, Elvis came to Austin several times in the early 50s. He played at what we called back then the National Guard Armory, which became the famous.
That's off of Lake Austin Boulevard.
No,
right?
no, it's the one that became the famous Armadillo World Headquarters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when Elvis came to play there, he was so unknown at the time to the world, but we knew who he was. But they were charging $1 to get in to see him, and we weren't about to pay that much, so we snuck in to see him. There was not very many people there. He drove up in his own car, his own Cadillac, got out and played and left. He also played at Dessau Dance Hall in Austin, and he played at Dessau, and I think he played at well, I know that he tried to play at the Broken Spoke. I don't think that ever worked out, but he was here in Austin more often than you think.
Daniel, what?
Wow,
I'm blown away by that, and that's not what I expected to hear. I didn't know. So, adding to the Dirty story, what have you been told that this legend?
Well, are you familiar with Mary that owns the hair salon over Mary's hair salon?
Yeah, I just got my hair done there day before yesterday. And she's been there 35 years.
Well, she's the first one that told me, and I think it was it was a few months ago, and she said, I saw Elvis here, so we might need to bring her in to confirm that he was in our parking lot. I wish there was some way to really uncover and see get some proof, because what a story that could be.
Well, I talked to Mary, I think it was last week when I was there, and we discussed that. And I said, Mary, what do you have that can document that? And she gave me the name of somebody that is one of her customers who may have some documentation of it. And I told her, I'm going to meet with Daniel. Let's try to get that information together and prove that he did come here in one of his Cadillacs, because he drove a Cadillac.
Love it.
But he didn't come in. He just parked outside with his group. I think it was 2 or 3 of them in the car. And they just drank a few beers and left.
Well, he looks like a cheeseburger kind of guy, though, or would have been. Yeah. Cheeseburger and fries, maybe.
Yeah.
A Fruity Pebble shake.
There's another weird story real quick about Elvis.
Yeah.
When he was here, in Austin, he got his picture taken. A lot of the girls wanted their pictures taken with him. One of them being a very wealthy Tarrytown girl. Her name was Carol Joseph, I think. I'm not sure.
The Joseph family?
Of the Joseph family. And got her picture taken with him. Well, everybody thought everyone would be thrilled, but her mother was not. And she proceeded to buy every magazine that had that picture in it off the newsstands in Austin, so that no one could see a picture of her daughter with Elvis.
Why?
Because he was such a hoodlum. I mean, he was
perceived that way.
Perceived, yeah, he wasn't really, but I mean, he was perceived as, oh my God.
Oh my God.
He shakes his hips.
Moving those hips.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? So I think we got a Dirty's version of Elvis. It might be the guy named his name Will. Will Coleman may be Daniel's version of Elvis. Would you agree?
I would, or kind of maybe a little more James Brown, but or mixture James and but yeah, he tries to do the moonwalk. He's a little Michael Jackson, James
There you
Brown,
go.
Elvis, all the
He's
one.
got a little soul.
Yeah,
Character.
yeah.
So every now and then we're gonna. There goes Will and back there in the closet. He knows it. He has no clue we're talking about him. There comes Will. We're gonna run his feature right now. Will, you want to see yourself?
Oh, yeah.
This was Daniel approved, so you know it's acceptable. So every now and then we're going to profile some of the dirty originals and Daniel Koss family, and here we go. This is who Will is. You've probably seen him several times. He keeps the energy high.
Yes, he does.
And I was riding this street on a bus, and they had a job opening over here. I came to apply. I only need to work here about 3 months so I get caught up on some bills, whatnot. End up 27 years minus COVID. I think they was putting something in my coffee because I mean, ain't no way I'll stay that long, but I did. And I've been here faithfully, like I said, minus COVID. And I enjoy it. I love the place. You know, this is my second home. You know, and I want to be here another 27 years. This is the original part of the drag. When they used to drag strip down here, that's why it's called a drag race. I'm sorry. And they would stop. The finish line was right here. It's a large cheeseburger with pepper jack cheese. All the way, that's lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and onions. And I want jalapenos on it. I'm sick of him. I've been sick of you. I got you the job here 23 years ago. Worst thing I've ever done. I'll send you home right now. I'll send him home. I'll send everybody home right now.
Well, that's,
Come in here, bro.
That's just every day.
There's Will.
Oh, there's Will.
It's accurate. It's a family here, Daniel. I mean, you guys know it more than I do. You guys talk if you guys want to mention something about that.
Well, speaking of family, JT and Wesley were here. Their tenure was so long here that they were fixtures, and everybody loved them. And Wesley especially was my good friend, and you could always count on them to be here and listen to you. JT was just the sweetest guy you've ever met in your life. So that kind of long-term tenure helped build a family relationship with the customers. You could tell them anything and ask them to help you with something, they would do it the same way around. Doc was another one that worked here many, many years. So it was interesting. That's what kept the glue together, I think.
Absolutely.
The glue that kept Dirties together.
Yeah. And yeah, now we're lucky enough to have guys like Will, Zyron, and Val, and Jake, who's our night manager working right now. He's been here 12 years. I mean, but we still have, it's still the same culture that's, you know, it's people come to talk to Will every Saturday. They come to talk to Z.
Come to see him, get his advice.
Yeah.
And if you want to see that will soon be posted on. I want to tag Dirties, so it'll be on there. You know, it's up to you if you want to put it on the Facebook page, but I want to tag you anyway. From the stories inside the Man Cave Twitter site, Instagram, and Facebook page. I'll even put it on my personal. That's pretty funny. He and Z are two of the many reasons why people should come spend some time with the family here and meet Daniel, of course, as well. And the food, the good food.
Absolutely.
And for some reason, the beer.
It's
a little colder here for some reason. So, Daniel, and I want you guys have a much longer. I may be from here. I was gone for 20 years, but regardless, you two have a deeper sense of the purpose for this new documentary coming out. I like to claim that I have a lot of pride in it, but you two have so much more invested into it, in my opinion. Tell us a little bit about the new documentary coming out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's so I mean it's a really beautifully shot documentary done by Harrison Chu, who is a believe it or not, only a junior in college, but the way when I look at this thing, it looks like he's got 20, 30 years of film experience. But it's called Keep Austin Dirty, and we basically we rounded up whoever we could that would speak on our behalf. But we got celebrities like Ben Crenshaw and Lyle Lovett and Mr. Charlie Schotz here, and there's at least 25 to 30 interviews on there, and as well as some folks from the KUT transportation reporters, Nathan Bernier. So it's about a 17-minute short film about sort of what we're going through, and hoping that the folks at Project Connect and the city of Austin see they kind of realize what has happened here at Dirty's for the past 97 years, and we're going to defend ourselves, and it's a statement piece, but also it's just a testament to the family that we have here, and so I'm really excited. It should be coming out next Wednesday, which is May
3rd. May
3rd. It looks like we're going to be releasing that to the public.
And Daniel, your efforts on that are incredible. You put in a lot of time and effort in it and got the right people together.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I think it's going to be very helpful in trying to accomplish what all of us want, is to keep Dirty's in place with its historic contribution to the Austin community.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I don't think Daniel ever sleeps. Between the role of dad, husband, and this relationship builder, and fighting the devil, the demon, that is people trying to construct a busway or a highway or a train from people who have no vested interest in the state of Texas.
None.
Everyone. This goes to re-election or on a ballot.
It'll be
possibly.
I challenge everybody to come out and vote 90% against.
I
That's all I ask. Voter turnout needs to improve in this town.
Absolutely.
In this county. Stand up for this. Not because we love this place, but because it's the right thing to do. Just because other cities, other of the top 10 or 11 cities in the country that are the same size have one, doesn't mean it has to happen here.
That's exactly right. Probably 10% of the people they claim are supporting it actually even know what the hell they're talking about. Their supporters only get a glimpse of what they think they're supporting and don't know the ramifications of what it's going to do, like to long-time businesses like Dirty's.
Yeah.
And Daniel, I'm going to say this. I'm not speaking on behalf of Daniel or Dirty's. I know this is our shared podcast because we're very passionate about this, and it doesn't show. These are not the opinions of Daniel or Dirty's, but I'm speaking on because that's how I feel about it from a personal point of view. If something happened to this place,
They did horrible.
Yeah.
I'm going to bite my tongue a little bit for the first time.
Yeah.
But we're going to fight, and we're behind you, Daniel. We're behind you.
I'm overwhelmed by the support. We have 37,000 signatures.
Wow,
and
that's
the
great.
fact that we were able to help possibly pass this bill, and the most recent news is that it will go back on the ballot. I don't know, all the political jargon makes my head hurt, and I'd rather just sell hamburgers.
But your website is excellent. I looked at it again.
I do
today.
feel like we have a plan moving forward to save this restaurant, and also save actually there's 15 businesses on this strip that are worth saving too. So I'm happy to lead the charge.
We're fighting for all of them.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Always positivity and love is how we like to end any episode in the stories inside the man cave umbrella. And even this, Austin as it used to be, there's so many good things to talk about. I see two good reasons right here.
Thank you.
Daniel in that other box in his office because he's a busy man, and Charlie Schotz. Excuse me. Good Lord Almighty.
So
It's been a long week.
Having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having
We'll
us.
begin with the VIP here. Tell us something good.
Oh my God, there's so many things you could tell about Dirties and its influence on so many people, from students to professors to people that work, people that had high-level positions in government came here. It is just a very important part of the lifestyle in Austin, Texas, and it's something we don't want to lose. And it's that lifestyle that is still living here in Dirties that they're trying to cut off because it doesn't feel good to them, the ones that don't care about this kind of thing. So we need to always look positively and be supportive of what we're doing and what Daniel's been doing. And with this podcast, I think it'll help out too.
How about you, Daniel? Tell me something good, brother.
Boy, I can just echo that. I mean, I'm sad because, you know, the place like Abel's, it's on 24th and San Jacinto. Their last day, I believe, is tomorrow, and they're gonna have to relocate down the street because another condo is going up there. That's not they. So my good thing is, it just gives just even more of a reason to just try to save this place. We are the only place to good place
with
to
a history.
Yeah, with history and so the good thing really is the support we've gotten. I mean, I can't believe, like, even I put this podcast on our Facebook page yesterday, and it's been shared and shared and shared, and people have been emailing me, and we already have, you know, prospective 8, 9, 10 guests. People want to be a part of this, and we have 13 Save Dirties banners hanging all over the place. These 24-foot banners, and so I'm just so thankful and for the love and support from this Austin UT community.
Let's go, baby. Let's keep that. Hey, let's finish. Like, what did all the Dallas Cowboys said it a few years ago, but they didn't do it. Let's finish this fight.
Here come horn.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Bijan could maybe go to the Cowboys, that would be even better. That would make the night even better. So
Bijan or Roshan.
Yeah, or Roshan.
Guys, this has been fun as usual. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've heard of your name, and Daniel mentioned you. I was like, how do I know him? Because I'm horrible with remembering names, but I know we've crossed paths.
Oh, yeah.
And Daniel, thanks again. We're teaming up.
We're gonna win. We're gonna win.
But growth is inevitable. Change is inevitable, but not everything has to change. Let's go.
Let's go.
For Daniel.
For
Mr. Schotz and the Dirties
Dirty Martin
family, Dirty Martin's family, we are